Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop, making the same mistakes over and over, unable to break free? Every time you try to move forward, you find yourself pulled back into a cycle of self-doubt, procrastination, or fear of failure. It feels like no matter how hard you try, you're always one step behind where you want to be. Well, you're not alone. This feeling of being trapped in a cycle of self-defeat is something many of us struggle with, and it's easy to get caught up in the negative thoughts and patterns that keep us from reaching our full potential. But what if I told you that it's possible to break free from this cycle? What if the key to escaping this trap lies not in trying harder, but in understanding why you're stuck in the first place? In this video, we're going to dive deep into the reasons why we sometimes find ourselves trapped in self-defeat. We'll explore how these cycles start, how they affect our lives, and most importantly, how you can break free and start moving forward again. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the forces that are holding you back, but you'll also have actionable strategies to finally overcome them. And this isn't just about motivation or wishful thinking. It's about changing your mindset, reshaping your habits, and taking consistent action to break free. But here's the twist. The solution might not be what you expect. It's not just about pushing yourself harder or trying to force change. The answer lies deeper. So stick around, because I'm going to reveal the critical pieces of the puzzle that will help you get out of that cycle once and for all. Let's start by understanding where this cycle of self-defeat begins and how it keeps you stuck. Are you ready to break free? To break free from a cycle of self-defeat, we first need to understand why we get stuck in the first place. It doesn't just happen by accident. It's a pattern that's often ingrained in us over time, and it's usually rooted in one key thing: fear. Fear is a powerful force. It holds us back from taking risks, trying new things, or pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones. But it's not just the fear of failure. It's the fear of not being good enough, of being judged, or of making mistakes. This fear creates a mental barrier, preventing us from moving forward, and it keeps us trapped in a cycle of avoidance and procrastination. Think about the times you've avoided a task or put off doing something important. What was the reason behind it? Often, it's because the task felt overwhelming, or you were afraid of not succeeding. The cycle begins when you allow that fear to control your actions. The more you avoid facing the fear, the more powerful it becomes. Eventually, it creates a loop. You feel bad for avoiding the task, which creates more fear, which leads to more avoidance. But here's the thing. Fear doesn't just go away by avoiding it. In fact, the more we avoid, the stronger it gets. The only way to break this cycle is to confront the fear head-on. And the key to doing that is to recognize that failure is a part of the process. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. When you start taking small steps toward your goals, even if they're imperfect, you begin to rewrite the narrative in your mind. Failure becomes a teacher instead of an enemy. You'll start to understand that it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. And by taking action, even in the face of fear, you begin to break the cycle of self-defeat. So, how do you confront this fear? How do you stop avoiding the things that scare you? The answer lies in changing your perspective and shifting your mindset. But we'll dive deeper into that in the next part. For now, just recognize that fear is the root cause of this cycle, and it's something you can overcome with the right approach. Now that we've identified fear as a major force behind the cycle of self-defeat, let's take a closer look at how it affects our thinking. It's not just about avoiding tasks. It's about how fear distorts our perception of ourselves and our capabilities. You've probably experienced it before. When faced with a challenge, your first thought is, "I'm not good enough," or "this is too much for me." These thoughts come from a deep-seated belief that we're incapable of succeeding. This negative self-talk doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. And the longer we listen to these thoughts, the more they shape our reality. They become part of the narrative we tell ourselves, and they guide our actions, or lack thereof. Here's the kicker. This self-doubt is not based on fact. In fact, it's often based on assumptions, fears, and past experiences that may not even be relevant anymore. But because we've allowed these beliefs to take root, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. We avoid taking action, or we give up prematurely, because we believe deep down that we'll fail. So how do we break free from this cycle? It starts with changing the story we tell ourselves. When you start hearing that voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do you have to support that belief? More often than not, you'll realize that these negative thoughts are not based on reality. They're just fear masquerading as facts. This is where the power of self-awareness comes in. By becoming aware of the negative thoughts and beliefs that fuel your self-defeat, you can begin to dismantle them. Instead of letting those beliefs control your actions, you can start to reframe your thinking. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," try saying, "I can learn how to do this." Instead of focusing on failure, focus on learning and growth. And here's the most important part. This process takes time and effort. Changing your thinking isn't an overnight fix. It's something that requires patience, persistence, and a commitment to your own growth. But the more you challenge those negative thoughts, the less power they'll have over you. Over time, you'll begin to notice a shift in your confidence, your mindset, and your ability to take action. The next step is to turn that new mindset into action. How do you take what you've learned and turn it into real measurable change? We'll explore that next. But for now, remember that the key to breaking the cycle of self-defeat lies in questioning the narrative you've been telling yourself. Your thoughts are powerful, and they can either keep you stuck or propel you forward. It's up to you to decide which one it's going to be. We've talked about how fear and negative self-talk hold us back. But what about action? You might be thinking, "I get it. I need to shift my mindset. But how do I actually start moving forward?" It's easy to get stuck in the mental loops of fear and doubt, but without taking consistent action, nothing changes. The truth is, action is the antidote to self-defeat. When we let fear control us, we stay paralyzed. We wait for the perfect moment, which, spoiler alert, never comes. But action, no matter how small, is the key to breaking free from this cycle. One of the most effective ways to begin is by focusing on small, manageable tasks, the kind that feel achievable, even on your worst days. This strategy works because it reduces the overwhelming feeling of tackling something big all at once. It's less about completing huge goals immediately and more about creating momentum, one small step at a time. Start by setting micro goals, tasks that take 5 to 10 minutes. For example, if you're trying to work on a big project, instead of thinking, "I have to finish this entire report," reframe it as, "I will write the first paragraph." These small wins will help build your confidence and combat the sense of being overwhelmed. But here's the key. You must follow through. Even if it's just a tiny step, following through reinforces the idea that you can take action and that you are capable. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can do it. Over time, these small successes will accumulate, leading to bigger achievements. But there's another aspect to action that many people overlook: accountability. When you make yourself accountable to someone, whether it's a friend, a mentor, or even a public declaration, it adds an extra layer of commitment. You're no longer only accountable to yourself, you've involved someone else in your journey. And trust me, this can be a powerful motivator. Accountability also helps when you face setbacks, because we all know that things don't always go according to plan. There will be days when you feel like quitting or when things seem too hard. But when you have someone checking in with you, it's harder to quit. You're more likely to keep going, even on the toughest days, because you don't want to let that person down, and you don't want to let yourself down either. Action, paired with accountability, is a game changer. It's a simple yet profound shift. When you focus on doing rather than thinking or doubting, you'll quickly notice that you're no longer trapped in that cycle of self-defeat. In the next part, we'll talk about the power of habits and how they can make this process even easier. But for now, remember, action is what moves the needle. No matter how small, keep moving forward. Every step counts, and each step will bring you closer to breaking free. Now that we've covered the importance of action, let's talk about something that can supercharge your progress: habits. The connection between habits and self-defeat is crucial. because habits are the automatic actions that either push you toward success or pull you back into that cycle of stagnation. Think about it. Habits are the actions we do without thinking, the things that are ingrained into our daily routine. And if you're stuck in a cycle of self-defeat, there's a good chance that your habits are working against you. Maybe you procrastinate every time you feel overwhelmed, or maybe you avoid difficult tasks because of fear or self-doubt. Whatever it is, these habits keep you locked in a loop, making it harder to break free. But here's the good news. Habits can be changed. In fact, they're one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal. The key to transforming your habits is to start small, just like we discussed with taking action. Trying to overhaul your entire routine overnight is a surefire way to burn out. Instead, focus on one habit at a time. This allows you to build momentum and gradually replace unproductive habits with positive, empowering ones. For example, if you have a habit of procrastinating when faced with a big task, you could replace it with a new habit. Breaking the task down into smaller, more manageable steps. By making the task feel less daunting, you're creating a habit of tackling things head-on, rather than avoiding them. Eventually, this new habit will feel natural, and you'll begin to notice less resistance when facing challenges. But it doesn't stop there. Accountability plays a significant role in habit formation as well. When you make a habit public, whether it's telling a friend about your new routine or posting about it online, you're adding another layer of commitment. You're no longer just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others too. And that can make all the difference when you feel tempted to skip a day or give up. As we move forward, it's important to remember that changing habits is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. There will be moments when it feels like you're not making progress, but that's when patience becomes your best ally. Keep going, and know that every small change is a step closer to breaking free from the cycle of self-defeat. In the next part, we'll dive into how to build resilience, how to handle setbacks and keep moving forward, even when things don't go according to plan. Because let's face it, life is unpredictable. But with the right mindset and habits, you can bounce back stronger than ever. Now that we've explored action and habits, let's shift our focus to another crucial factor in breaking the cycle of self-defeat. Resilience. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much planning, effort, or determination we put into something, setbacks are inevitable. So, how do you keep moving forward when things don't go as planned? How do you bounce back when failure feels overwhelming? This is where resilience comes into play. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how you respond to it. It's the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and keep going despite the obstacles. In fact, some of the most successful people in history have faced tremendous failures and challenges, but what sets them apart is their ability to bounce back stronger each time. The first step in building resilience is to reframe failure. Instead of seeing it as a personal flaw or something to be ashamed of, view it as a natural part of the growth process. Remember, each failure is a lesson, not a verdict on your abilities. When you can detach your self-worth from your failures, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Next, it's important to develop emotional flexibility. Resilience isn't just about getting back up after you fall. It's about how you manage your emotions when things don't go right. When you face a setback, it's normal to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even defeated. But it's how you process those feelings that makes the difference. Instead of letting negative emotions take over, learn to acknowledge them and move forward. Emotional regulation is key to maintaining your momentum. Another crucial component of resilience is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when things go wrong, but that only makes the cycle of self-defeat stronger. Be kind to yourself when you fail. Recognize that you're doing your best and that setbacks don't mean you're incapable. They just mean you're human. Self-compassion is a powerful tool in maintaining resilience because it allows you to recover more quickly and keep moving forward without beating yourself up. Finally, resilience is about perspective. Instead of viewing a setback as a permanent roadblock, see it as a temporary obstacle, one that you have the power to overcome. Adopting a growth mindset is a powerful way to do this. By believing that you can improve, adapt, and learn from mistakes, You shift your focus away from what went wrong and toward what you can do next. As we wrap up this part, remember that setbacks are a natural part of life. They don't define you. Resilience isn't about avoiding challenges, it's about how you recover and keep moving forward, no matter what. In the next part, we'll talk about the importance of setting long-term goals and creating a vision for your future that will inspire and motivate you to keep going, even in the face of adversity. Now that we've explored resilience, let's talk about long-term goals and the power they have in keeping you motivated and focused. When you're stuck in a cycle of self-defeat, it can be hard to see the bigger picture. It's easy to get bogged down by the day-to-day struggles, doubts, and setbacks. But having a clear vision for your future can be the motivating force you need to push through those difficult moments. The first step in building long-term goals is to create a vision, a picture of where you want to be in the future. This vision isn't just about achieving success or hitting milestones. It's about aligning your goals with your core values and passions. When you have a clear sense of what truly matters to you, your goals become more than just tasks to check off. They become the driving force that propels you forward, even when things get tough. But having a vision isn't enough on its own. You need to break that vision down into achievable steps. This is where goal setting comes into play. Without clear, actionable steps, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The trick is to break your long-term goals into smaller, manageable milestones. These milestones should be specific, measurable, and time-bound. For example, if your long-term goal is to run your own business, your first milestone could be to conduct market research within the next month. The next milestone might be to create a business plan within the next 2 months. By breaking down your vision into smaller goals, you create a clear roadmap that makes the journey feel less daunting and more achievable. But here's the catch. You have to stay flexible. Life is unpredictable, and you may encounter unexpected challenges along the way. Your original plan may need to be adjusted. Flexibility is key to maintaining your momentum, because rigid plans can easily lead to frustration if things don't go as expected. In addition to flexibility, it's important to keep your long-term goals in perspective. The path to achieving them isn't always going to be linear. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns, but as long as you keep your eyes on the bigger picture, it will be easier to stay motivated. Every setback or detour is simply a part of the journey. It's not the end of the road. Having a long-term vision also helps you navigate those moments when fear or self-doubt creep in. When you remind yourself of the bigger picture, it becomes easier to move past those feelings and stay focused on your end goal. The clearer your vision, the easier it will be to push through the challenges along the way. In the next part, we'll explore how to maintain motivation during those inevitable tough times and how to build habits that keep you on track toward your long-term goals. Because let's face it, staying motivated isn't always easy. But with the right tools, you can maintain your drive, no matter what life throws your way. Now that we've established the importance of long-term goals and vision, let's dive into the crucial factor of staying motivated. Motivation is the fuel that drives your actions and keeps you pushing forward, especially when the road gets tough. But here's the thing. Motivation ebbs and flows. Some days, you'll feel energized and ready to take on the world, but other days, the last thing you'll want to do is work toward your goals. So, how do you maintain motivation when it seems like everything is working against you? The answer lies in understanding that motivation isn't just about willpower. It's about building systems and strategies that keep you moving, even when your willpower is low. The first strategy is to focus on the why behind your goals. When you're feeling demotivated, it's easy to lose sight of why you started in the first place. Reconnecting with your purpose can reignite that initial spark and remind you of the bigger picture. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Maybe you want to build a better future for yourself or your family. Maybe you're driven by a passion to help others or make a difference. Whatever it is, reminding yourself of your deeper motivation can be a powerful antidote to the temporary struggles that try to pull you off course. Another key to maintaining motivation is to celebrate small wins. It's easy to overlook your progress when you're focused on the end goal, but every step forward counts. Take the time to acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrating your progress helps build momentum and reinforces the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. One mistake people often make is thinking that motivation comes from external sources, like waiting for the perfect moment or a sudden burst of inspiration. But motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. That's where habits come in again. By consistently showing up, even when you don't feel like it, you start to build the momentum you need to keep going. The more you show up, the easier it becomes. Eventually, taking action becomes less about feeling motivated and more about the commitment to your own goals. It's also important to recognize that motivation can be boosted by your environment. Surround yourself with people, places, and resources that inspire you. Whether it's joining a supportive community, following mentors who inspire you, or simply creating a workspace that encourages focus, your environment can play a huge role in sustaining your motivation. If you want to stay motivated, create an environment that supports your vision and keeps you moving forward. Finally, one of the most effective ways to stay motivated is to reframe obstacles as opportunities for growth. When challenges arise, instead of seeing them as roadblocks, view them as stepping stones. Each obstacle you overcome adds to your resilience and propels you closer to your goals. When you shift your mindset from seeing struggles as setbacks to seeing them as valuable learning experiences, you'll find that your motivation strengthens. In the next part, we'll talk about the power of accountability and how sharing your goals with others can provide the extra push you need to stay on track. Accountability can be the difference between taking consistent action and letting your goals slip into the background. Stay with me as we explore how to use this tool to stay motivated and keep pushing forward. As we continue on this journey of breaking the cycle of self-defeat, let's talk about accountability. You've probably heard the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is where accountability comes in. Having someone to share your goals with and check in on your progress can be a game changer when it comes to maintaining motivation and achieving your long-term goals. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility. When you know someone else is counting on you to follow through, you're far less likely to let things slide. It's easy to let yourself off the hook when you're working alone, but having someone else involved adds an element of external commitment that strengthens your resolve. The mere act of telling someone your goals makes you more likely to follow through. But accountability isn't just about someone reminding you to stay on track. It's about creating a supportive partnership where both parties encourage and challenge each other. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a colleague, having someone who holds you accountable can help you push through moments of self-doubt and fear. It's like having a workout buddy who encourages you to push harder during a tough session. When you're tempted to give up, that extra push can make all the difference. Another key benefit of accountability is feedback. When you're on your own, it's easy to get stuck in a loop of self-criticism or unrealistic expectations. But by involving others in your journey, you get fresh perspectives. They can offer insights, suggest improvements, and even share their own experiences, making your journey less isolating and more collaborative. Feedback helps you grow and stay grounded, preventing you from spiraling into negative thoughts. There are different forms of accountability, and it's important to find what works best for you. Some people prefer one-on-one check-ins, while others thrive in group settings. Accountability groups can be powerful because they provide collective support and motivation. Whether it's a group of like-minded individuals working towards similar goals, or a more casual group where everyone shares their progress, the group dynamic can create a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. To make accountability even more effective, set up regular check-ins. These don't have to be long, formal meetings, just a quick conversation or message to check on each other's progress. This creates a consistent reminder that your goals are important and that you're not alone in pursuing them. These small but regular check-ins can keep your momentum high and your focus sharp. In the final section, we'll wrap things up by discussing the importance of self-reflection and how taking time to evaluate your progress can help you stay on course. Reflection helps you understand where you've come from, what you've achieved, and what you still need to work on. It's a crucial step in ensuring that you're not only moving forward, but also evolving in the right direction. As we conclude this journey of breaking free from self-defeat, let's reflect on the final piece of the puzzle: self-reflection. Throughout this process, you've been building resilience, setting clear goals, and leaning on accountability. But none of these strategies will be as effective without the ability to step back and reflect on your progress. Self-reflection is the key to continuous growth and improvement. When you're caught in a cycle of self-defeat, it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day challenges. You might feel like you're not making progress, or that your efforts aren't enough. But by taking time to reflect, you can gain a clearer perspective on your journey. Self-reflection helps you evaluate what's working and what isn't, giving you the clarity you need to make adjustments. Start by asking yourself the right questions. Reflect on your goals. Are they still aligned with your values and vision? Are you taking the right steps to achieve them? What obstacles have you overcome, and what lessons have you learned along the way? Be honest with yourself. If something isn't working, it's okay to acknowledge that and make the necessary changes. Self-reflection isn't about criticism, it's about understanding. A powerful tool for reflection is keeping a journal. Writing down your thoughts, emotions, and experiences can help you process your journey and track your growth over time. Journaling allows you to see how far you've come and serves as a reminder that you are making progress, even on the days when it feels like you're stuck. The act of putting your thoughts on paper can be incredibly therapeutic, helping you clear your mind and gain fresh insights. Another form of reflection is seeking feedback from others. While accountability partners help you stay on track, they can also offer valuable perspectives on your progress. Regularly asking for feedback gives you an external view of your strengths and areas for improvement. It's like having a mirror that shows you not just what's in front of you, but the unseen parts of your growth. Ultimately, self-reflection is about evolving, not just as a person, but in your approach to your goals. It's about recognizing that every setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and adapt. So, take time to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Every step forward is a victory, and with each reflection, you get closer to breaking free from that cycle of self-defeat. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. What's one action you can take today to break free from your self-defeat cycle and move closer to your long-term goals? It might be something small, setting a new goal, reaching out for accountability, or simply reflecting on your journey so far. The choice is yours, but the key is to take action. Remember, progress is a series of small steps that lead to meaningful change.